What's up guys, Eve Business Insider back again to do part 2 of our look at planetary interaction. Today we're going to build a multi-planet setup, show you how to use spaceports and customs offices, and take a look at how you can get into J125 to set up your own PI lines. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for this section we're going to be doing a multi-planet colony on a barren and either an ice, plasma, or lava planet. And this is for enriched uranium. It's one of my favorite commodities to build, sells great, it's used very frequently. So here's what we have to do. On your number 1 barren planet, you can just go ahead and put down a command center anywhere you like. We'll get into why in just a minute. Next up, upgrade it to maximum level. So with that finished, let's go over to the scan tab and have a look at what we have on noble metals. So the way in which uranium works is we're going to need noble metals and heavy metals. We'll get the heavy from each of one of those 3 planets that I mentioned and the noble from the barren. So I'm just having a quick look around to see what is a good spot to put down. I'm going to put down probably right about there with my extraction heads, which do not need to be anywhere near the command center. So what they do need to be tied to is a spaceport, and of course for this you will need a customs office as well. So if you don't have a customs office, you are pretty much hooped on a multi-planet setup. If you do have one, then follow along with me as I put down a spaceport somewhere near the border of this high density area, and then an extraction control unit, you know, somewhere around beside it. So we want to cover as much of this resource as we can. Let's put down right about there. So we'll connect these two with a link, hit submit, and then we're going to take a look for materials, same way we did on the other planet. Noble metals respecified, and this time we're going to open up a whole whack load of heads. Let's go for 10 heads, sorry. Okay, so we've got the extraction head set for a day, and we've got our heads all lined up in the highest density area possible. And the only thing we need to make note of here is that our total output estimation, which will be wrong for sure by a little bit, is 1.4 million units per day, and we're looking for in general over 1 million, so that's going to be just fine for us. Go ahead and hit submit, and the next thing we will need to do is go ahead and come with a really high level zoom up into here, click on this link in between the 2 structures, and we're going to have to upgrade it. Now that's because we're going to be using a lot more volume, and this is going to cost us a fraction of as much as, you know, trying to find a way around it. So we'll hit submit there, and now we should be able to route this noble metals into our spaceport. There we go. Okay, and back over here to the command center, you can hit that handy home button to get immediately back to it. We're going to start assembling the other half of our barren planet. So to begin with, we'll just grab a launch pad, put it down there, and then we're going to put down as many basic industry facilities as we possibly can cram just around into the radius of these 2 structures here. Okay, so I was able to fit 11 of these basic industry facilities in a pattern around our spaceport and command center, and then I've gone ahead and linked them all in a fashion so as to allow each of them access to the spaceport. So what we're going to go through and do now is just make a schematic for each of them. These are pulling noble metals, which will turn into precious metals. And it was pointed out to me recently, if you make a click in here, you can actually hit the key for P on your keyboard and it'll jump down to the spot for that. That'll save you a couple seconds. We can also double click on precious metals there, double click on the routing item, and then double click on the spaceport. All 3 of those are going to save us a little bit of time. So we'll just go through and do each of those now. Okay, all of these have been set up now to receive and then reroute materials back to this spaceport here. So to find our other one, we'll have to zoom out and just go scrolling until we see these long arms of these extraction control heads. Take a look there. And we're going to have to wait until a cycle outputs to show you how to swap over from one spaceport to the other. So we'll get back with you in a few minutes. Okay, the extraction has finished up 1 cycle, enough for us to do some routing. So all we need to do is click on that spaceport right there, hit the launch button to bring us up the Planetary Customs Office dialog box. Then all we need to do is swap our noble metals over into this other category there, this other side here, and hit transfer, and that's going to send it up into the customs office. Now to get it back, we can shift over to here, do the same process, or we can also hit that drop down menu, click on the other spaceport, which is this one, send it back down to it and transfer again. Now if this was in low-sec or a customs office with tax set, that would have cost you a little bit of ISK, but here in J125 it doesn't, so that's always nice and handy. Now from here we can open up this and the storage and go ahead and route this little bit of material to each one of our basic industry facilities. Okay, with our routing complete and 1 cycle started over there on the barren planet, I'm going to head to a new planet now that I'm going to use for my combination industry planet, and I've picked a gas for this. It really doesn't matter which one, so long as it's not used by your current Production lines, we could put down a command center literally anywhere. Hit submit. Of course, we're going to upgrade that to maximum. And then the only difference here is we're going to put up about 10 or so advanced industry facilities around our launch pad. So I'll put the launch pad maybe down there a bit, and then go ahead and cover this with advanced facilities. Okay, so I've placed 11 of these advanced industry facilities to keep things nice and even, and I'm going to go ahead and schematic them each for enriched uranium and then route them back into this spaceport here. Okay, with the schematics and routing finished on our gas planet, we're going to come over here to our second resource planet, which is a lava, ice, or plasma, as mentioned previously, and just show you that we have basically the same setup as the Baron going. We've got 10 basic industry facilities producing our heavy metals up into toxic metals, and then to go along with that, of course, we need extraction heads, and we have found a nice heavy density area here and put some extraction heads down on it, and we'll just resurvey there. And as you can see, we're still getting, over 1 million units per hour, or per day rather, and we can just set that up as well. So that's finished, and now we just need to wait. Okay, and maintenance on this setup is very simple. All we need to do is wait enough time to fill up a good amount of this extraction spaceport, go for launch, pass that up to the customs office, and if we head over here, basically we've got half a cycle still remaining of the toxic metals that I had done a day prior, so we'll shift those up, put the new heavy metals back down, and that's pretty much all we have to do. Whoops, that didn't work, because errors are good. Let's try again. There we go. And down it goes. So it's filled up this spaceport here. It's fueled up each of these basic ones to produce a new day worth of toxic metals. And all we have to do is scoop up those toxic metals at the end of each day. Okay, pickups and drop-offs on a customs office are incredibly simple. All you need to do is right-click on the planet or the customs office, head on over to it at 0 meters, and then click and drag into your cargo from the Access Customs Office dialog window. So whatever's over here we can drag in. In this case, we'll be putting some stuff down to the planet in just a moment. Okay, back on over to the gas combination planet, and what I've done is just dropped in about a day and a half or a day or so worth of each of these materials. We're going to go ahead and drop them down into this storage facility spaceport there, and then we're going to route each of these materials into each of our advanced industry facilities. Alright, with that industrial planet pretty much cranking away on its own happily now, we're going to have to go down and maintain that whole setup roughly once every 24 hours to keep things flowing nicely. At the end of the month there, for those 3 planets that we set up, it's going to revenue us between 350 and 400 mil a month, of course with level 5 skills, which is great. Now we've only done 3 out of a possible 6 planets, so one thing that we can do is double up on our resource extraction planets with the same enriched uranium setup or a different setup altogether. And we have lots of spare CPU and power grid resources on the industrial planet just specifically for that, so we would set up an identical mirror image to the enriched uranium that we have there, doubled up again on that industrial planet to process the other half of the resources that we want to do. And that will basically give us a 5 planet setup, which gets you very close to your maximum planets and very close to $1 billion per month in revenue as well. If you can maintain those every day, then power to you. Let's do a quick recap. Number 1, we identify the high profit material by planets that were around us. I will put some links in the description to help you do that on your own. Number 2, we set up 2 resource extraction planets. And number 3, we combined those into the commodity tree on a separate industry planet to maximize efficiency. And here is another shot of the planets we used. So hopefully you got some good tips and tricks out of this episode, guys. Unfortunately, we'll have to wrap up. Tune in next time, and thanks for watching.